Hello guys, welcome back once again to my Insta world of conversations. Today we're gonna talk about abuse. I have someone coming in who's gonna share their experience, and we are gonna take it from there. And let's just wait and get her in, and then we'll take it from there. How's everyone? We are all set, and we're gonna bring her in and then we'll take it from there. Just a minute guys, just connecting with her, just connecting with them. Once we're connected we will start. Hello, how's everyone today? We are all set to have somebody come on board as well about abuse. And I want to talk about abuse a lot because I feel that a lot of people still are not aware of it. They're just aware of physical abuse. So I think people need to be educated about different sorts of abuses so that they know if they are facing one. So we are all set and we are just waiting for her to I am just waiting for her. And once they connect, we'll take it from there. I hope you all are doing fine, and we have her here now. Let's get her on board. I'm just having a bad hair day. Hi.
Hi, how are you?
Good. But yourself?
I'm doing good.
Okay, so let's why don't you introduce yourself and then we'll take it from there.
Okay, so my name is Gabby Bueno. I'm from the United States, and I don't know what else do you want me to tell you.
That's good enough. So let's talk about your page. I recently saw your page, and I saw that your content was abuse.
Yes.
What did you come on board and make a page about abuse? Were you facing one, or what is the reason behind that?
I had gone through a very abusive relationship, and I felt very lost at the time. I felt like nobody understood what I was going through, and I built that page as an outlet for myself.
Okay.
When you go through something like that, it's very difficult. An emotional abusive relationship is very difficult for people to understand because it's not physical. There's no bruises. So people think, they don't really think much of it, if that makes any sense.
Yes,
So anyways, I needed an outlet. I needed to explain myself or just be heard. And so that's why I did that. That's how that page came about.
Right. And just before you came in, that is what I was also talking about, is that we need, especially people who've gone through it, they need to come on board and talk about it, because a lot of people just think abuse is physical. The emotional,
Right.
all the abuses, people don't take it seriously. They don't know the trauma a person goes through and how much care they need, and they just like, but it's just verbal, but these people need to be really educated. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Okay. So I think my whole reason of bringing up on this platform was that we need to talk about this. This is not something small. This is something really big. And I was just, today I just asked my daughter, I said, tell me something. Would it hurt you if I you, or would it hurt you if I said some bad words to you? And she said, Mom, if you slapped me, I would probably be okay. It's just a punch. But if you said some bad words, that would really. And I was like,
Right.
wow, thank goodness she understands this. That word can go more further than just a little hand. Although I'm not saying that one should be doing that, but I
Right.
think that really need people to get educated on it and take it serious and show support to people, because that's so much that it just makes me really sad. So coming back to you, would you want to share your story, or you would just generally want to talk about it, abuse?
Either way, I mean, it's he was a covert abuser, so it
Okay.
was kind of like um, the boiling frog method. You didn't see it coming until it was too late, and the damage was already done. So it was. I knew something was wrong. I just didn't put my finger on it, and so I kept trying to leave, but by that time I was already trauma bonded, and the trauma bond is it's very hard to it's very difficult to break, and that's why now I understand why sometimes people ask, like, why didn't you leave? I tried really hard. I just kept running back because of that trauma bond. And a lot of people don't understand that emotional abuse is domestic violence. Just because they physically you don't get hurt, that doesn't mean that it's not abuse. It's still domestic abuse. So my story's
And how?
it's a little, go ahead.
Sorry, go carry on.
No, I was just going to say that my story's a little bit different because of we knew each other when we were children, and then we lost touch, and then he found me again by chance, which is kind of odd. And he was in jail at the time. So when he came out, I would make excuses for his behavior, because I would always say, he needs to get used to the free world. He's not used to this. He's not used, I would always make excuses for his behavior, because I thought that because he had been in jail, he had to, come back and relearn how to live in our society. And that's one of the things that also kept me trying to be loyal to him is something that kept me there, not realizing that I was causing myself more harm.
And how long were you in that relationship?
In the free world,
Yeah.
he was inside for 2 years, and then when he came out, it was a year. But as soon as he came out, that mask fell off, and I knew something was wrong.
Okay. So when was it that you realized that something was off and this was not right for you?
I I, I kind of started realizing when he was inside, because the treatment was already starting. It was very subtle, but it had already started when he was in there, when I would go visit him, the things he would do or the things he would say. But I was missing those red flags, because I wanted to believe that, he wanted to change, and that I just kept making excuses for him. But it was, now that I think back, it's the red flags have always been there.
Now, I know I hear a lot of people say that now when we go back and look at the story, now we can see all the signs and the red flags and everything. And I'm like,
Right.
wow, look at play and how they play that game around you, that you just confused most of the time.
Right. Yeah, it was just, it was a chess game to him, He always had to think of the next move and the next move, and I was just going around in circles because I never knew what was going on.
So how did you finally escape, and how did that work?
Well, um, not to be funny or anything like that. I can tolerate a lot of things, but cheating is one thing that I don't tolerate. And so he found new supply, and I wasn't aware of it. So finally, I found out that he had somebody else, and that's something that I just won't tolerate. I just won't deal with that, and I left. But I kept seeing him because of the trauma bond. I kept running back. Like, I wasn't physical with him anymore. We were just kind of hanging around because I needed, or I wanted, I guess, in my mind, I needed that treatment, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
You know, the highs and the lows. And so it took me still another 3 months before I actually went no contact and just suffered.
So how were those 3 months when there was no contact?
No, after he found his new supply, I still had contact with him for like 3 months. So then I left.
Okay.
And then it was just brutal because you literally have to detox from something that you're not even aware that you're addicted to. And that was just terrible, you know? I kept wanting to run back. I wanted to, but I went no contact, and I stayed no contact.
And when you broke up completely and you were trying to get over this thing, uh, were did you have any support around you, or were you alone in all that?
I was alone in all of it.
Wow. So you fought all of this all by yourself.
Yeah.
So how did you manage, and what how did you pull yourself together? Like, what was like, for some people, like, I know people say we had our faith, we had some support, we had this. For you, you were alone. What did you have? Was it your own willpower, or what was it for you?
It was my willpower. God, it's something that I'm not very religious, but I'm spiritual. And it was a combination of things. I think my willpower, wanting to deal with this and just get better, because it was so bad that I had to go and deal with my emotions. That's one of the biggest things that people don't realize, that you have to deal with your emotions. It's better to deal with them than suppress them. And some people, I mean, it's hard, and some people would much rather not deal with that. And that's how we fall into the trap of another narcissistic relationship, because we're still wounded, And so when you go in there and you really go and dig deep down and start to heal, it changes a lot of things,
Yeah, because then I think what happens is you start to blame yourself, and you start to see how why I didn't see that before. Get angry at yourself, and then you get hurt with. So I think there's a lot of emotions going around, and
Right.
you said it, so you do not address them, then you go back with somebody else in the same cycle. So you
Right.
put that really well. And did you even try a therapist, or not even that?
I didn't go to a therapist, but I know several therapists, and um, they gave me kind of tips on how to move forward.
Okay.
And but mostly I did everything by myself. But I did have, they told me, like, one of them told me, did you leave or did he leave? And I said, well, I left, because at the end I was the one that left. And she said, keep reminding yourself about why you left, why it is that you left. And that helped me a lot too, because you have to put yourself in that mind frame of, why did I leave, or why did he leave me? And if he left me, why did he discard me like a piece of trash? And I'm okay with that. And it shouldn't be like that, because sometimes we feel so bad. And like you said, you do blame yourself. I did blame myself. I mean, when I came out of that relationship, it was so toxic that I thought I was the crazy one. I thought that I was the narcissist because they just turn everything around on you. And people don't understand this. You're trying to talk to your friend or your mother or your sister, and they're looking at you like, no, what are you talking about? In their mind, it doesn't make sense because, again, you know, people don't understand emotional and psychological abuse. Until you go through it, you really, you can't just explain it to anybody. People think, you know, no, they're making that up, or it's crazy. It's crazy making in itself.
Yes. I was with someone last week for 2 years, if I'm not wrong, and she said um, that the thing was that her parents saw that something was wrong because she was really off, but they couldn't point it. And then she eventually came and she told them. She said, I had their support, but I didn't know how to explain it. Like, it was so crazy, like you said. And she said that when I found out that he was a narcissist, I've forgotten how she told me. I think she went to a therapist, and that's how they discovered it. And she said I had to bring my parents on board and educate them on what I was going through because they had no idea.
Yeah.
And once I had educated them, then they understand, and they really felt sorry for me being in that relationship for 2 years. That is one of the main reasons for I want to educate people, especially I'm in Pakistan and people over here don't know. I didn't know about it. I just randomly one day at the time, and I was just, I don't know why, and I just went online and started looking at sorts of abuses. And the first thing that came up was narcissist. And I clicked on it, and for some reason I got glued on it. And I went and I put hours and hours and hours. I watched these YouTube videos, and I was crying, and I was like, "What is this? What kind of disorder is this?" In the morning, I reached out to a couple of friends, and they said, "We don't know what it is." And a lot of people did not know what it was, and I was like, "That's interesting. Nobody knows about it. Maybe I should educate myself on it and educate people." And I came here and I met cousins, and my cousins, like, they're in their 50s or in their late 40s, and I was like, "Do you know what is a narcissist?" And they're like, "No, what is it?" And one of my cousins was, "Is that some kind of food?" And I was like, "No, it's not." I was like, "Oh my God, I really need to get this because people don't," and it's just not one disorder. There are so many of them. And that's, I think that the more we talk about it, the less it is, because like you're a survivor, you know that hell, and nobody knows it. I don't think anybody,
Exactly.
I cannot sit here and say, "Oh, yeah, I understand." I cannot understand that. I cannot understand. I can empathize with you, but I've not lived it.
Right.
I don't know about it. And I therapist on a live stream, and she said it so perfectly. She said, "Do you want to know what a marriage is with a narcissist, guys?" And she went on by saying, and she's written 3 books about it as well. And she was like, "It's like you don't even know how you're gonna get up the next day, how you're gonna go out of that bed, downstairs or whatever, out of that room. It is that bad. It is that horrible.
They break
They
your
are
soul.
they break you. You said it right. That's what she said. She said they break your soul. So understand. If you cannot understand, empathize with these people because you don't know. And do not ever say that you are weak because you are so strong. Look at the hell you're going through. You are so strong. So never think that you're weak. And that was like, wow, that was such a she's a therapist. She's done so much of research and all that. That was like, that just hit me so hard. Like, imagine a person going through that, and maybe sometimes they do reach out to family and friends and they don't understand. How hopeless do they feel then?
Exactly. That's one of the things that um you just feel lost. You're just lost. You have no one to talk to. You know, when my friends would tell me like, Gabby, what's going on with you? That's not you. That's not who you are. And I would tell them, I know, but I didn't know what was happening, you know, and I couldn't explain to them. They didn't understand why I kept running back. So I kept leaving and I kept running back and I kept leaving and I kept running back, you know, and they were like, what is going on with you? That's not you. That's not who you are. And that really isn't who I am, you know. Again, like I said, I can tolerate so many things, but something like that, I had never been through anything like that. In my 40 some years, I'm not going to tell you exactly how old I am. In my 40 some years, I had never heard the word narcissist. I had never heard it before until this happened. And he turned out to be a psychopath narcissist.
Oh my goodness. That's even worse, I've heard. I haven't read much about it, but I've heard that that's worse.
Yeah.
No wonder he was in jail. Maybe.
Yeah, and then the thing is that I know, but because I knew him when we were children, I saw him in different eyes, you know, and I was aware of what he had done. I knew what he had done, and I know what he's capable of. But there was also that promise of, no, I want to change. I'm ready for change. I'm done with this life. I'm leaving it behind. I don't want anything to do with it. And that's one of the things that you know, I fell for, unfortunately. And he forgot to mention that, you know, he had a problem with, I mean, he's not aware that he's MPD, but he's aware of his behavior. And he just, you know, of course, forgot to mention that. And so I went and got myself into this mess. And here I am. You know, 1% of the population is narcissistic.
Yes, I read that. Just before coming on, I was like, let's read up a little more. And they were saying 1%. Wow. And yeah, mostly 1%. They say more men than women.
There is more men than women, but there's also women and they're vicious also.
Yes. I read about mothers, I read about fathers, I read about this, and I'm like, if I go to somebody's page, and I open up something that you've posted and the messages I read, there will be 10, 20, how many they are. And I am like, my head is spinning because like everybody is a narcissist because everybody's right there. I went through this, this is this, and I said, oh my gosh, and then I just, you know, try to reach out people, are you okay, are you fine? And you know, and there's this lady, I reached out, she's a singer, I don't know where she's from, and she's in such a bad place right now. She said, my husband is a narcissist and he's taken my daughter away from me. I want my daughter back. I don't want anything else, just give me back my daughter. She was going through hell and she was having seizures, and she said, I'm running to the hospital right now to get MRI. And I was like, I'm so sorry to hear that. You know, if you need anything, I'm here to listen, and I hope things work out for you and stuff. And I was just so sad because if you even open one page, people who are writing about survivor or narcissist, and you go and read on their posts, oh my God, you really need a couple of days to recover from what people are really writing out there. And it's really sad, really breaks my heart.
It's so bad. Like, I had never had migraines before in my life, and I would get migraines when I was with him. I had anxiety. My anxiety was through the roof. I was constantly crying, and you know, the migraines were like something I had never felt before, and it's a terrible headache. If you've ever had a migraine, you know what I'm talking about. If you haven't, it's just the worst pain you can ever have in your head. You just feel like this throbbing, like it's gonna explode or something, you know. I can't even explain it. And I had that because, you know, he was so toxic that your body knows when somebody's not good for you, you know. But apparently it took a lot longer for my mind to understand that. And my mind was saying run, and my heart was saying no, be loyal, stay. And so I had this tug of war within myself, you know, where I was like, I know better, but I couldn't do it. And as soon as I left and I stopped contact with him, the migraines went away. My anxiety was there for like maybe a year, but then, it eventually went away. I was so nervous because I didn't want to meet him in a public place. I didn't want to see him somewhere. I unfortunately learned to check into a place when I leave, because again, you can't give them too much time to get anywhere to where you're at. And so it's kind of sad, because I kind of have to look around before, when I used to just go wherever I wanted at whatever time or do whatever. And now I kind of have to look around and make sure that, that I'm not gonna, I try to avoid any place that he's been or where he might be as much as possible, just because, again, like I said, I know what he's capable of.
Right, right. So let's talk about your journey towards healing. How was that?
My what?
And your journey towards your healing process.
Okay.
You think that you healed, and how did it work out for you? And tell people how healing is.
Healing is difficult. It's not linear. But if you're willing to do the work, it's awesome on the other side. Also, something that I tell people is that, healing is a journey. It's not a destination. But once you learn how to do it, I mean, you just take a little bit of chaos with life, and you know how to get through it, instead of struggling and suppressing feelings and doing all this other stuff.
And you don't think so when you won't say that it takes this amount of time to heal, because it's different for everybody, right?
Everybody's different, right? If you're trying to heal from narcissistic abuse, it's going to typically take 18 to 24 months before you can start seeing that healing. And so just be very patient with yourselves. Be gentle with yourselves. I mean, this is a very, very hard time. It's a very traumatic time. You just went through something very, very traumatic. Nobody deserves to go through that. Just be patient with yourself and deal with your emotions. That's something that's very important, that I keep telling people. You have to deal with your emotions. You can't suppress them. It's not even worth it.
Right. And tell me now, where are you now? Are you in a good place, or you're still working towards your healing, or what would
I'm
you
in a
say?
good place now. I'm in a good place. That trauma bond is still there. It's a little bit hard to get rid of that. I'm working on that right now. I don't have any feelings for him. I don't, I understand everything that happened. And it's gonna sound kind of corny, but I'm grateful for it, because if it wouldn't have happened to me, I wouldn't be in the place that I am right now. But I am healed. I'm doing, a lot better than what I was a year ago. And it's just like I said, that trauma bond. And I'm working on things for myself now. It's not so much about the healing from that relationship that I was in. It's healing things like, I'm getting into my inner child, and I'm trying to get better, for my family, because I have a grandson, and I don't think my grandson should. I think he should grow on love, because most of us, you either grow on love or survival. So I'm kind of working at it for mostly for my family, for myself and for my family.
Right. And to my understanding, you saying it's been a year?
It's been 15 months since I went no contact.
15 months. Okay.
Right.
And tell me, did you, since you've been alone on this journey of healing, tell me, did you do any meditations, or did you go, uh, like, what did you do? Did you do meditations, or, I don't know, go to church or something? What tools do you use for yourself?
In the beginning, it was really hard for me to meditate because I couldn't. My mind was just all over the place. When this had just happened, you're just so confused. You don't know right from wrong, left from right. You're just so confused. So it was just a lot of prayer and just dealing with those emotions that were there because I was constantly crying. I would wake up at 2 o'clock in the morning crying, or 4 o'clock in the morning, or I couldn't sleep, or it was just like I just had to sit down and deal with that emotion and just be like, okay, why is this happening? Why are you feeling this? What is it that this is bringing you? And so that was like a good, I'm gonna say, 4 to 6 months from the time that I left, that I had to do that. And then I started meditating, and then I started, prayer has always been there for me. I don't go to church, but prayer has always been there for me. A lot of talking to my angels. It was just, I know I'm well taken care of. I'm very blessed to have, I don't know, my guides or my God and my angels around me. But that's how I did it. And then it started kind of getting into a little bit of painting, just things to just keep me busy and doing other things, finding other things about myself that I didn't know before.
Okay, okay. Okay, now I wanted to ask you if you would uh, give a message to women, especially if they are in a narcissist relationship. uh, what message do you want to give them, since they are probably just stuck there? What do you want to say to them?
First of all, yeah, hopefully you can get away, make that plan to get away. And I do want you to know that, there is healing and that it can get better. It's really hard right now. And I know that it seems like it's the end of the world, and that you can't get out of that relationship, or that you can't leave. If you manage to get out, it will be a lot better for you. It will get a lot better for you.
Somebody is saying, you talk about, why don't you talk about female narcissist? I would love to talk about it, but I am yet to find somebody who would come on board and speak about it, because whoever I connect with is a female. So yes, and my whole reason, especially to answer that question, is that a lot of women out there are suffering. I not connected with a lot of men out there who are suffering. So yes, if you know somebody, connect me, and I am all open to hearing both sides of the story. It's bad, even if it's a male or a female. And like I said before, I don't know if you heard it.
Well,
I've
okay, go ahead.
Go ahead. Yeah, I
I
just
was
want to
going
say
to
that
tell you.
Yeah. I'll just say one thing and then you can add up. All I want to say is that I've already spoken to people, and they've said they have siblings, they have mothers, and some people are just not on board or just not ready to talk about that. So it's not like I'm just against men or something, but
Right,
it's just
right.
that I'm just not getting connected with men out there who would want to talk about it. But yeah, if they are, I'm more than willing to hear their story, because that would also be something new, because I've never spoken to one, and
Mm-hmm.
that would also give me a lot of education.
Right. What I was going to say was that my friend's son is actually dealing with a narcissist, and she was telling me, because I'm going to give you an example. They have plans. The sister and the brother have plans to take the niece to the movies, and then they're at the movies. They're at the theater, and the narcissist shows up and says, "We're leaving," you know and the sister was turned around and said, "What do you mean?" And her brother, his eyes were like his eyes were full of tears, like, "She's embarrassing me so horribly," because she's a covert. She's an overt. I'm sorry, she's an overt. So that she'll just say whatever she needs to say just to make that point, and it's going to be my way or the highway. And my friend was telling me, how come he doesn't realize that it's abuse? And I told him, because a lot of people don't realize it. A lot of people just think, that's just how they are, that's their behavior. But then he's probably trauma bonded already also, because he's been in that relationship for so many years that, he doesn't realize it. But from what I've heard, she leaves the kids at home, or she's just, her little boy got lost one time, and the police was looking for him, and everybody was looking for him. They found him in the park, and she was at work, and everybody at the house was, terrified, because where's this little boy? So they finally get to the house. The police gets him to the house, and she walks in from work, and the police officer told her, your son's in the shower. They're giving him a bath right now, if you want to go in there with him. And she said, no, I'll wait here. She has no empathy for her own children. It's just terrible. I mean, I don't think you're going to find a female narcissist that you're going to be able to talk to, because people don't, they don't know that they have a personality disorder, and so I think it's going to be very hard for you to find somebody like that. There might be a couple of guys in my page that have been with narcissistic women, and they might be willing to talk to you. I can try.
Right, that would be really good, because I would really want to hear that side of the story, because I've never heard one, and I've read online, and I reached out a couple of men, but I didn't get any response. So then I just let it be. I don't know why. Maybe some people are just not comfortable. And I see a lot of people on Instagram, when I reach out to them, they're like, no, we're hiding our identity. We're not ready yet. And,
yeah.
And it's okay. You can't push people, and people who are on board, you can bring them on and let them speak for themselves. So let's just wrap up. And what are your final words for people who have disconnected and are trying to heal, or any kind of message you want to give them, or if they're alone or something?
Seek help. If you don't feel that you can do it on your own, find a therapist that's knowledgeable in this subject. Instagram is not therapy, but it helps when you can find groups of people that know what you're going through, or what you've been through. That's a way to talk to people and connect, and talking. Once you start talking about it, it gets so much easier, because you're getting it out there, you're saying it, and you're actually saying, what, this happened to me. And that's something that that's one of the first steps, I think, to getting you to the healing, through the healing process, pretty much. Just reach out to people.
Acknowledgement is actually going towards healing.
Right.
Right. Well, thank you so much for coming and on board and sharing your story. I can see how brave you were, because you're the first person I've come across who said she was alone on her journey, and that's pretty amazing, and I must applaud you for that, because I've read about it, and reading about it has left me like shaken, and I've not been able to sleep. So imagine if I'm reading and feeling this way. You've been through it, and you were strong enough to fight alone, and I think that you deserve so much better, and you deserve everything that is out there for yourself. And thank you once again, and I wish you all the best, and I hope that you and your grandson have a wonderful time together.
Aww, thank you.
Much love. Take care.
Likewise. Peace and love.
Thank you. Thank you guys for joining us. I hope that through her story, you learned a lot, and that it would help you if you are suffering. And reach out, like she said, reach out to people, reach out to therapists, and take care of yourself. And for tonight, bye-bye.